Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in. It is the late evening live stream to my super chat. Thank you so much for just giving me every incentive to rock these live streams. Thank you. Cosmic Grandpa, Eric H526, hello. A little prehistoric bug there. Well, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. You know, this is going to be a pretty simple segment that's actually quite important. Mike, thank you. John, hello. Democrats truly believe that Trump is on the ropes. Every single article is that Trump is on the ropes. That he not only that he's on the ropes. Former eBayer, hello. Not only that he's on the ropes, but that he is so upset. The polls are making him just so upset. He's livid. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to get out of this tailspin. Then they're trying to paint this picture that Biden is really, is really doing quite well, like, there's no reason why anyone would vote for Biden. He's done nothing in, 40 years in politics. You can't name one thing that he's accomplished. Not one. Not one. He voted alongside the Bush administration, just like Clinton and Kerry and every other establishment Democrat. Tell me, what did this man accomplish? He pushed alongside Clinton and President Obama for the complete destruction of a country in a failed NATO intervention that led to the destruction of a country. They obliterated Libya. And so that's his claim to fame. Then you have Tara Reid. So it's believe with Trump, but don't believe with Biden, because there's a pattern. Well, just go. You can go on YouTube and you can go anywhere and see. The man always has to be placing his slimy paws on someone or near somebody. So the pattern of behavior. Then you had the New York Times, or his PBS article. There wasn't a pattern of behavior except inappropriate. And then they list all the different physical issues pertaining to contact. Except inappropriate. This, that. Hugging, touching, all these things. So, and then the "you ain't" comment with Charlemagne. Anytime he expresses himself, first of all, on camera, he looks like an exhumed body, and he expresses himself like one. So, tell me how anyone's going to vote for this man. There's zero enthusiasm regarding Biden, and he's not going to be nominated. It's going to be Hillary Clinton. So, share my Times of Israel article, Hillary Clinton, not Biden, will be nominee. And share my Huffington Post article, Hillary Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. The only chance they have is Clinton. Okay, this is not about one person. Like, of course, Clinton wants to become president. She stated that. And the DNC spokeswoman stated they're not nominating Biden. Now, I don't know what has to happen, but when you put somebody with health issues, when you put somebody who's older than time itself, when you put somebody who communicates like, some kind of, let's just say a person who is, I'm trying to be nice here. He looks like an exhumed body, and he communicates like one. So this is an obvious charade. And then they try desperately to make everything like morally equivalent. Oh, look what Trump said. Look what Trump says. You can try your best. You could try your best. And Trump on his worst day is better than Biden on his best day. So, you could try your best. But they truly believe They truly believe, ladies and gentlemen, they truly believe that he's going to defeat Trump. And number one, they ignore the enthusiasm. The average Trump supporter is extremely enthusiastic. Number two, Trump is viewed as far better on the economy. So within the polls, you can see how the data within those polls undermine the headline. So the polls are completely inaccurate. Like when they come out with Trump is Biden's 14 points up, Hillary Clinton's going to be nominee. It ain't going to be Biden. I will have made the biggest political call of all time. But when they say, Trump is down 14, why? I want to know why. Well, his response to the pandemic. He's not a governor. The governors were the ones who were responsible for their state. That's why Wyoming doesn't have the same issues as New York. All 50 states are different. But one thing we know for sure is that 5 Democratic-run states account for over half of the lives lost because of the pandemic. So his response to the pandemic. Well, you had this media that was apoplectic, blaming him for everything, never giving him a chance from day one, never giving him a chance. What did Madonna say about the White House? I can't even say it on YouTube. The second he was inaugurated, there were protests saying, that Madonna was saying, what she wanted to do to the White House. And these celebrities, they get away with anything. They say anything they want, that if any other person said it, like the Secret Service would visit them tomorrow. But he was never given a chance. Everything, every word, every quote is manipulated. He never said both sides, meaning, the bigoted, horrible monsters were fine people. No, never said it, never meant it. He was talking about conservatives who wanted statues up. You can try to equate them with the horrible monsters that were, that were there as well, but that was a horrendous moment in time that Democrats took and try to utilize to their political advantage, as if they're the ones standing for truth and justice. President Trump signed the First Step Act. Democrats signed the crime bill. Or pass push the crime bill. Then you say, well, Central Park 5. Okay, Trump wasn't in government. The New York City and state, like today, were run by Democrats. You had a Democratic mayor. You had Michael Bloomberg, stop and frisk Michael Bloomberg. And you had Mario Cuomo, who could have intervened. So, and then you had around that time, the super predator comment from Hillary Clinton. But, they get away with everything. The media is no longer, you could look at like Jimmy Carter's administration. Jimmy Carter didn't have a fun time in the White House. You had an oil embargo, and then you had hostage crisis, then you had a whole bunch of problems. Economic crisis. But every single day in the news, it was a different time period. It wasn't always, Carter does this, oh my God. There wasn't social media. Social media is it's going to be the undoing of the Democratic Party. Because you're going to have people who retweet the same absurd things. They're going to retweet President Trump into 8 years. They've done away with religion. They've done away with any concept of God, and their spiritual sustenance is condemning and judging and insulting and mocking through social media. That's what they do. And they're obsessed with it. And then when it doesn't work out for them, their political voice will be tied to a vapid, soon to be archaic platform. Do Democrats think that like Twitter and Facebook are going to be around 10 years from now? Okay. I don't even know. Hopefully my writing in The Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon, the Federalist, the Daily Caller, the Jerusalem Post, the Daily Caller, the Times of Israel. Hopefully you can still find links in 10 years. In fact, if you're, a fan or interested in my work, or you just, archive everything in the pinned comment and description. But YouTube, the video, you could find VHS tapes. You could find old Eric H526, Luke St. Martin, hello. You could find you could find old videos always remain relevant. Someone's, awesome, like totally awesome burn on social media, on Twitter, no one's gonna remember that 10 years from now or even 3 years from now. That's a waste of time. But they live their lives. And then when President Trump goes 8 years, November 3rd, it ain't gonna be fun. It ain't gonna be fun for them. Because they truly believe that Trump is on the ropes. But he's doing the rope-a-dope. Or I don't even think that. Trump's inaction makes oil markets harder. Everything is his fault. Is there anything, has media ever, has the Washington Post or the New York Times or CNN or MSNBC, it's virtually 90+% negative coverage. And any positive is grudgingly he inherited a great economy. Notice how it's not President Obama's economy anymore. Isn't that interesting? It's no longer, you watch when the economy rebounds, it'll be President Obama's economy again. So, it's like, there's this very bizarre world existing on social media, and they keep saying that the country is divided and Trump is polarizing and the country is divided and the nation's in turmoil and the soul of the country is at stake. These are all different ways to describe Democrats horrified at the possibility that Trump goes 8 years. These are different ways to explain they're upset. Kathleen Smith, your number. Thank you, Kathleen. I love that emoji. That's awesome. Kathleen Smith, thank you. Kathleen Smith, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Jimbo, Biden more like Don King than George Foreman. Jimbo, Biden is, yeah, actually, in many ways. Jimbo, thank you. Kathleen Smith, I often wonder, Jimbo, who would win, George Foreman or Mike Tyson? That would be the fight of the century. Jimbo, would that not be the fight, the fight of, the fantasy all-time fight? Who would win? I don't know. Maybe a young Mike Tyson, 1986, 87 Mike Tyson. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe George Foreman. I'm not sure. Kathleen Smith, thank you. HJNTX, I don't know. I would say maybe Tyson. But then you can't disregard George Foreman. George Foreman beat Joe Frazier twice. And Joe Frazier and Mike Tyson, I don't know if they had the same style, but they're the same, somewhat similar build. Jimbo, thank you. Kathleen, thank you. But I think that You have, ladies and gentlemen, we'll make it contemporary. If you have Tyson Fury, or Deontay Wilder, let's say if you have Tyson Fury, and he's going up against the heavyweight match with Jerry Nadler, and the bout is November 3rd. Tyson Fury being Trump and Jerry Nadler being the Democratic Party. Who do you think, like, if you're rooting for Tyson Fury and everyone else on social media saying Jerry Nadler is going to win, I don't think they really have, like, this is like a stock option. This is like an expiring stock option where where President Trump's side, the Tyson Fury side, increases in value every day until November 3rd. Andrew Morgan, hashtag Jimbo. Jimbo. What I mean to say is, if you know you're going to win a sporting event, if you know you're going to win the Super Bowl, a heavyweight championship, you know there's no way that if they went with Biden, that they could defeat President Trump. Now, once Clinton enters, I will be a little bit nervous because she has Kathleen Smith. Thank you. Because she has a chance. You know, Clinton could pull it off. I don't think she will. Brian Wirch, I think you could be right about that, yeah. What I'm trying to say is, you're not going to be worried. See, every day, I don't mind, like, the future is bright. The future would be bright even if Clinton won the presidency. If Hillary Clinton became president, it would be like not good for the country, but we would survive it. I'm not going to be like the Democratic Party and media, apoplectic. She would get us into more interventions, which is exactly the basis, the reason why I wrote against Clinton. I would never vote for Clinton. In addition to endless controversy, but she could possibly win. She has a chance to defeat Trump. I think President Trump, my prediction is that President Trump's going to go 8 years. If it's Clinton, he still defeats Clinton. But if it's Biden, you're talking about a landslide. The polls are not accurate, just like they weren't accurate in 2016. And they always go back and they say, well, the popular vote, they were accurate in the popular vote. It's like, well, yeah, she outspent Trump 2-1. And then you had Gary Johnson. You take both of those factors away, Trump wins the popular vote. He could win if he wins the popular vote this time. If he wins the popular vote, do you understand? People, Biden would not win the popular vote. The public relations ploy saying, oh, well, his response to the pandemic and the response to the protest. His response would be any president's response. What did President Obama do when the same thing, well, somewhat of the same thing was happening throughout his presidency? Did nothing. He let the local authorities decide what they needed to do. That's what President Obama did. That's what Trump did. But with Trump, it's always words are divisive. They hang on every Trump word. They wait and they obsess over everything he says. There's hidden meanings. Like, they're the Rosetta Stone. They're the people who can decipher Trump's secret messages, even though they're the ones who didn't think he would even win. So it's always something with the Democrats. Always something. It is always something. But, I mean, you have a situation where they don't have anything, like they cannot they can't possibly win because They don't have anything that they're voting for. Jimmy from Philly! Coasting, baby. Jimmy from Philly, hello. Hello, Jimmy from Philly. That's right, coasting, that's right. Just like the Millennium Falcon, Jimmy from Philly and everybody here, just fly casual. Just below the radar. And then when Madam Secretary takes it and loses again to President Trump, oh my God. Everyone here, do you understand how amazing November 4th will be? You have to think about this. Eric H526, hello. G-Man, hello. Dylan, hello. Yeah, Agent Smith, hello. You have to think about this. Think of November 3rd. I'm trying. I gave the Tyson Fury analogy. It's like if you knew if there's a heavyweight match and your champion is, you knew that he was going to defeat the challenger. If you knew that he was going to defeat the challenger, you would look forward every day. Now, there are a number of Democrats who truly look forward to Election Day. They truly think. Exactly, GTO Mama, exactly. They truly think, ladies and gentlemen, that Trump's going to lose. And the only reason they think this is because the polls tell them. But they'll never learn. The polls were wrong all throughout 2016. Then you had a couple days before, Clinton has a solid electoral college lead. So, I mean, if you look at media coverage, you can decide who'd win the popular vote. Just look at the one-sided media coverage. Do you think if Trump was given even a chance, if media even gave Trump like a moment, like every single president before President Trump, every single president, okay, since you had like televised, interviews, and every single president was asked, Mr. President, what were you thinking during this crisis? What was your most successful, successful time as president? What were you thinking when you were, across from, this leader or that leader? Mr. President, during this crisis, how did you get through it? What was your, was it your belief in God? What helped you? Do you think he gets any of that? Do you think he gets any of this? They can't stand him. They don't want anything to do with him. So then the Democrats got the popular vote. Big deal. The entire media, like with Bush and President Obama. President Obama visits a gym. Ooh, amazing. So here, you can you just type in President Obama visits. He visits the Yukon Huskies, visit President Obama, and gift a rocking chair. What did they gift Trump? Pupkus? They gave him nothing. They only gave him insults. Oh my God. President Obama visits Stonehenge. If Trump visited Stonehenge, we'd be like, Trump, he broke Stonehenge. He broke Stonehenge. Jimbo! I can't wait to see how much of a farce the Dem convention. It will. It will. It will, Jimbo. It'll be the biggest farce ever. It will be the biggest farce ever. It will. But here President Obama visits Stonehenge. When Trump visits Stonehenge, Trump, spray paints Stonehenge orange. Oh, so horrible. President Obama and Biden make surprise visit to D.C. bakery. Guardian News, do you think they would care? Do you think Trump could make a surprise visit to D.C. bakery? I mean, they don't, nothing Trump does. Like nothing that they don't. President Obama visits with DC students. Anything that Trump would do, they would take a quote out of context. Trump visits students and tells them they have only moments to live. Oh my God! Did you see what he said? Did you see what he said? He said it. He said it. He said it. Oh my God! Oh my God! And it would be retweeted, and it would be like the end of the world. It would be the end of the world. Nothing he could do. Nothing he can't. So what I'm trying to say is, Jimbo, it's going to be amazing, but it's going to be Hillary Clinton. Or else they'll lose in a landslide. If they don't go with Clinton, they'll lose in a landslide. Matthew, thank you. But, Jimbo, thank you as always. But, I mean, it's like they never gave President Trump a chance. And anything good he did, we had record low unemployment. It wasn't really the deficit was the issue. There was still wealth inequality. We had record low Black and Latino unemployment. Oh, well, it really happened under President Obama. It wasn't Trump. It wasn't really Trump, It wasn't really Trump. He really didn't do it, And then we had the first president to step foot in North Korea. Well, and then before that, it was, the meeting's off. Oh, what are you going to say now? The meeting's off. And then the meeting was on, and then it happened. Oh, it was just a photo op. They never gave him any credit ever, ever, ever. And now, now it's like, I think that the left is like, they kind of know that their moment in the sun, like you think it's like, they think it's the dawn of a new day, when in reality, they're just heading towards that. There's an iceberg November 3rd, and it's orange. And it's like this orange iceberg it looks like Trump's hair. And they're like, what is that? It's an orange, looks like a head. Looks like, what is that? Is that an iceberg or actually a giant Trump? And they're heading towards it. But they don't, it's like they don't get it. They're going to lose again. And this meltdown will be absolutely fantastic. And the thing is, like, whenever you hear about Biden, nobody ever gives a reason as to why they would vote for Biden. I mean, aside from the fact that he's not Trump or Bernie. Biden hasn't had an actual press conference. He's nowhere to be found. Like, hold on one second. Let's see. Where is Biden's press conference? Biden press conference. He has a roundtable. No, he didn't even have has virtual briefing. That's a while back. He hasn't had a press conference in how long? I mean, this is like, how many days? Let's see here. 85 days? 85 days? You haven't had a press conference in like around 3 months? They haven't had a press conference in like 3 months. They're going to lose so badly. And it'll be interesting to see who doesn't stop with the madness. It'll be interesting. Like, who keeps on going when it's all said and done? Andrew Morgan, hello. Paul Klupax, hello. Biden is a disaster, putting Dem voters in a panic, but a last-minute HRC could be a mass impulse vote. Got to be logic to the Dems' madness. HA, thank you. Yes, Paul, thank you so much to my Australian crew. Paul, thank you. I agree with you 100% on that. I mean, the panic sets in, like the panic increases exponentially. The panic increases exponentially. Hunty, hello. The panic increases exponentially every day. He hasn't had a press conference in 85 days. Who in their right mind truly thinks that this man could defeat Trump? Even if you, let's just pretend you are an apoplectic, hysterical, rabid, frothing at the mouth, angry, frustrated, indignant, judgmental, narcissist. Pretend you were a Democrat for a moment. And pretend your life, like your love life. Honey, no, I'm thinking of Trump. Again, for 4 years, every day. Imagine if your life depended on Trump no longer being president. You just obsess over every tweet. You obsess over everything he does is magnified to the point of absurdity. Every critique is pure hyperbole. I know, believe me, I know these people. Okay? And they're not as smart as they think they are, but they think they're like God's gift to the planet. Do you think the closer it gets to the convention, you might be like, oh my God, I don't know if Biden can do it. It takes one article in the Washington Post or New York Times. Paul, thank you. Mrs. Miggins, I'm excited about D.C. finally becoming a state. I don't think that's going to happen because of the Senate. Thank you, Mrs. Miggins. Thank you. Nurse Kimberly M. Hello. Nurse Kimberly M. Thank you so very much. Hello. Mrs. Miggins, thank you. D. Lynn, I think you're right. The thing also with President Trump, he's actually going to he's going to force them to enter this realm of negativity that they won't be able to get out of, which will be very interesting. And God bless him. God bless President Trump. I don't think that, they say he's an existential, threat. No, actually, the existential issues we face as a country is hysteria, paranoia, groupthink, this tribalism from media and social media, and these vapid, absurd political arguments. Well, if you do this, then this happens, and if you believe this, then you also believe that. It's like, what? What are you talking about? Well, you can't say this, you can't do this, and if you did this 20 years ago, your life is over. And who is standing in judgment? You have the biggest, imbecile standing in judgment, which is bizarre because, what have you done to judge? If the only thing you've done to condemn or judge others is just the fact that you're condemning and judging, that's a big issue. Anthony Andrea, given the current climate, would the left contest the popular vote and move to disqualify the Electoral College? I think that they're trying to. They're definitely trying to. If they lose the Electoral College again, they will pass. They could very well pass a bill in the House. Oh no, they could no, because you'd have to get a constitutional amendment, Anthony Andrea. So you'd have to get a constitutional amendment. Big Daddy, hello. Democrats thought they exactly 90%. Big Daddy, hello. So they would need a constitutional amendment, 2/3 of the House, 2/3 of the Senate, and then what was it? It's a long process. They would need a long process too. So okay, hold on one second. Constitutional amendment. Amend the Constitution. So 2/3 of both houses. Congress may submit a proposal, a constitutional amendment to the states, if the proposed amendment language is approved by 2/3 vote of both houses. Congress must call a convention for proposing amendments upon application in the legislature. 2/3 of the states. So there are different ways. The Constitution spells out 4 paths. Proposal by convention of states, ratification by states' conventions, proposal by convention of states, ratification. Okay, so used proposal by Congress, ratified by state conventions, used once. So it ain't happening. Although they'll try to, but they don't realize that it's a function of media coverage. Anthony Andrea, thank you. Doc, BBC. Senate Dems blocked police reform. I thought they were protesting. What does Cocaine Mission about the Dem strategy say about this Dem strategy hurt President Trump? Well, they don't. They're saying it does nothing. They're saying that their bill does more, and so it's just back and forth. But see, at the end of the day, the Doc BBC, it's the Democrats have to address the issues that they're harping about. And if they don't, through legislation, they will lose. If they don't do a lot of things, they will lose. See, the polls are like complete nonsense. They're worthless. People didn't even think Trump would be GOP nominee. People said Clinton would win Texas. People say Clinton would win Arizona and North Carolina, and that she was up by double digits. And when you had polls maybe a week before, fine. If you have a poll a week before that doesn't ask, see, the polls that are propping up Biden are asking about two situations that really Trump has nothing to do with. The pandemic, that's a state issue. Each state has a different, states have different outcomes pertaining to how they dealt with the pandemic, different issues. There's a reason that New York is the epicenter, and a whole bunch of red states have infinitely better outcomes than New York and other blue states. We can go into it, but the issue is that the governors of these blue states, these Democratic machines, didn't address the pandemic early or effectively enough. It wasn't President Trump. And in the protests, George Floyd was murdered in Minneapolis. And then the mayor, the Justin Trudeau wannabe, wanted to, Doc BBC, the mayor wanted to protest, and they said, go home. So I think it's more like Mitch McConnell is just, they'll block the statehood for D.C., but I think that's really what it's going to be about. The polls do not accurately predict what's going or reflect what's going on. Stephen Setterberg, check out National Popular Vote Interstate Compact to see how they could potentially bypass the Electoral College due to popular vote. Scary stuff. You know, it is scary, but I think that if the Supreme Court were to rule, I don't think the Supreme Court ruled on it. It's blatantly unconstitutional. You know, these are Democratic-run states saying that they're just not going to abide by who wins the state. They're just going to go with the popular vote. The popular vote is a function of media coverage. The media can't stand Trump. No, you don't see the people at like CNN or MSNBC wearing Make America Great Again hats. Stephen, I agree with you. Thank you again, Stephen. Thank you. That is. It's scary stuff, but it's also blatantly unconstitutional. You can't just do that. It's like the tearing down of the statues. Like, you have to actually vote on it. Like, pass a bill in the House or a state legislature, or a city council. You can't just go and just rip monuments down. Like, you have to do it legally. If you don't, then you're going to go to jail. Kathleen Smith, thank you, boss. Kathleen Smith, thank you. Thank you, Kathleen, thank you. Stephen, Kathleen, thank you. Doc BBC, thank you. Anthony, thank you. Doc BBC, the Democrats are the ones who really have to address these issues, and they aren't. Which is another, like, I've never seen such a blatant attempt at grasping political power and influence. They don't care, like, they have, this is why when they go with Clinton, it will be the biggest political call of all time on my part, but they won't be embarrassed. Like, you would think they would be reticent or shy, or like they would try to be like, do it in a surreptitious manner. I mean, it's not really, it doesn't even matter how they do it. It doesn't matter how, tomorrow Biden can say, I think we need a female vice president. So, Jimmy from Philly, interstate compact is a joke, nothing to worry about. I hope so. Yeah, I think that if they ever try to implement that into some kind of, law or agreement, the Supreme Court would step in. It's blatantly unconstitutional. You can't just, you can't just have a whole bunch of states that say, oh yeah, we agree with this political party. The popular vote is a function of media coverage. The media does not give Trump a fair, the media is not fair to President Trump. Like, when was the last time you heard intelligence reports that show President Obama did something wrong? Maybe because the intelligence chiefs were working alongside President Obama's administration and the Democratic Party. When was the last time you heard intelligence reports saying Bush did something wrong? Oh, when was the last time you heard intelligence reports say Trump did something wrong? Every other month. Oh, Intel said that President Trump knew about the pandemic. Intel says that Russians did it. Intel says that Trump could have worked with Russia. Intel says the Russians interfered in the election. I don't care what the intelligence community says about anything. They have to prove a claim. When you make a claim, you have to back it up. You can't just, like, since when do we revere the intelligence community? They were wrong all throughout the Bush administration, which caused never-ending conflict. But see, again, Democrats don't care. They don't care. Stephen, thank you again. So, you always get, like, with Trump, he's not treated in the same manner. Intel. Well, did you ever get Intel says that Clinton's emails were hacked by the entire planet? Oh, you didn't get that Intel. You didn't get that New York Times report from unnamed sources in the Intel community, did you? Yeah. I wonder why. That's not journalism. That's public relations, and that's activism, and that's hearsay and gossip from sources that are said to be, the smartest people in the room, but couldn't even stop Facebook ads. This is the brilliant Intel community that not only served as the basis for Bush's never-ending horrific foreign policy quagmires, but they couldn't even stop Russian Facebook ads. For 4 years, the Democrats have been obsessed over election interference. This is like this is what their lives revolve around. Not protecting America, not protecting American lives from foreign threats. It's Facebook ads and election interference. This is the big, and then they say, oh, they betray our country. The DNC is not our country. Why would, it's funny, Trump benefits from corruption within the DNC emails that show that Bernie Sanders was cheated, and then they say, oh, he betrayed our country. How does that work? Ladies and gentlemen, so basically, let's wind this down. Look, at the end of the day, you're not, okay, November 3rd is right around the corner, people. I don't think we have anything to worry about Is there a chance I could be wrong? Sure. But look at the track record. In 2016, I said Clinton would lose. She lost. They said that Clinton had, a 90-something% chance of winning. Aria, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel right now. To my super chat, thank you so very much, everyone. I will see you all tomorrow morning. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening. Thanks for staying up. Thank you, everyone. Have a great, great evening and a great day and a great Sunday. Thank you.